Welcome. Today we will explore your breath, the many facets of breath, the many ways that you can breathe, and how this affects your body in all sorts of different ways. In particular, I want you to learn what is known as posterior-lateral breathing. This comes in handy when we do our curated core or any kind of core movements. This is how you can support and stabilize the lower part of your torso. But all of these breathing practices have use. What I really want you to discover is that you can always make a choice, and your choices can be expanded upon with better awareness. I'm going to use the makarlu here as a prop, but you don't need these props. This is just a visual aid so that you can see the various parts of the torso that are moving, how they differ in the different styles of breathing. All right, so let's get started. So I have placed my makarlu props on my low abdomen, lower belly, lower part of the rib cage, and then the upper part of my rib cage. And they're just here as visual aids as we explore the breathing. So we'll begin with a belly breath, breathing low into your abdomen. Let's all try it and see what happens. Notice that the lowest makarlu is getting the most movement in this one. I'm really feeling a front to back expansion the most in this breath, although there's a little other stuff too. And notice also how your energy level feels. Take a scan through your body and just do a check-in. Great. Next, let's try rib breathing, moving into the upper ribs and rib cage, really sending our breath high. See how it feels. So I'm noticing that my top two makarlu are moving quite a bit. And I can really feel some movement in my upper back. My upper back actually wants to pull away from the ground on my inhale. And I can feel movement in my collarbones and kind of a rise up in my body. What do you feel? How do your energy levels feel right now? What is your state like? Next, we'll try the posterior lateral breathing. This is the one that I like to use in my curated core classes. This makes it possible to maintain a contraction in the lower abdomen while performing movements and continuing to breathe. So I gave away the secret. My favorite image for this one is imagining that you have gills. So on the sides of your ribs you have gills. Posterior means back, lateral means side. So we're breathing into the back and sides of the rib cage. Let's try it. If you're watching me, where do you see the movement in our props? Do you see any movement? I feel much less movement in this one in these props. I'm feeling more expanded to the side and back. What else do you notice as you try this breath? How does your body feel? How does your back feel? I can actually feel my pelvic floor muscles engaging a little bit more, especially on the exhale. What is your energy level like? Great. Don't worry if you're not feeling very solid on any of these yet. They're just ideas to plant so that you can explore and feel and expand your awareness. But I wanted to give you one more thing to explore here in our movement. We do this a lot in our curated core, and that is adding a lever. In this instance, we're going to add the lever of our legs and see how our abdominals, our trunk are affected by this lever with the various kinds of breath. So let's return to that belly breath, nice and low. And on the exhale, we're going to lift one leg at a time to tabletop. And try to breathe here. Okay, what do you notice? I'm getting a lot of movement in my lower thorax, and I can feel some tension in my back. I'm not sure that I'm actually using those deep stabilizing core muscles. That's me. Let's try a chest breath. Back up high. Let's just, as usual, use that exhale to lift your legs up. What do you notice? Oof, it's making me anxious. I have a lot of space in my lower back. I feel tension in my lower back and hip flexors. Go ahead and come back down. All right, posterior-lateral breathing, the gills, the sideways and back. Let's see what happens. Just doing one to get prepped here. All right, inhale. Exhale and lift up those legs. See if you can continue breathing. What do you notice? I notice a sense of stability in my lower torso. I can feel more action in my center, in the musculature. I can feel my pelvic floor working. My back feels more supported. My upper back doesn't feel like it's having to fight. That's just me. I've been practicing this for a lot of years. Go ahead and rest. So again, reminders, all of these types of breathing and even more types of breathing have their use. But what I want you to explore is your experience with each one, expanding your awareness. If you don't feel like you've got it right away, don't worry. These are practices. I love doing breathing practices, especially if I can't sleep at night. I just focus in on my breathing and I explore a little bit. Just play. And then as you develop more of that awareness, you can feel stronger and more confident in the choices that you're making in our movement practices. Thanks so much for playing with me today. I'll see you next time.